A lot of people want to be able to absolutely farm RP, like to the point where they're getting hundreds to thousands of it a session. But sometimes people don't actually know what it takes in order to get that type of RP. So hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8 Second Gaming, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down Imadness's day where he got 1600 RP in one sitting. But if you guys are here and looking to climb the ranks, then you need to check out the GameLeap website. Over there we have guides and courses made from players who know what it takes to play at the highest ranks, and these are all there to make you the best player you can possibly be. So if you're looking to climb into Diamond, Masters, or even Predator, click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, or I'll unmilk your almonds. Okay, but now let's hop back into Madness's session, and to start things off, let's look at his team comp, because that is a very important step in your own rank climbs. The entire time his team is playing Valkyrie, Horizon, and Seer. Now this is a very strong composition of legends because they can basically play however they need to. While yes, they won't be as strong in holding buildings as say a Caustic team, they will still have solid rotations and fighting abilities thanks to Horizon and Valkyrie. Those two open up so many options on how you can approach fights, it's not even funny. And because of those options, you aren't forced into one playstyle. You can change it up on the fly and adapt to whatever you need. And also, Madness is on Seer, and that's not somebody that you would typically see him play as a Wraith main. He's been a Wraith main for a very long time, and I think he would still count himself as a Wraith main. But Stormpoint has a lot of weird choke points and buildings where teams like to sit and wait for passers-by, kind of like spiders setting up a web waiting for bugs to fly into it, because teams are unexpecting of it, and it usually ends up in some free KP for the team that set the trap. But with Seer, you can easily counter all that just by using his heartbeat scanner, but he's also really good in the fighting aspect as well. His ultimate and tactical creates so much information in the blink of an eye to help your team control the flow of fights even if you started off at a disadvantage. So while Horizon and Valkyrie are also strong, Seer's kind of the bread and butter of this team comp. He's really the glue that's holding those two together and allowing them to be so aggressive because he is able to give the information out to the teammates to let them use their characters properly. Now their landing spot is another big topic that a lot of people mess up in their own games and that I want to cover. At the start of his session, he was just kind of dropping wherever like most people do, and it was working out, he was getting some gains. But when he really started to take off was when his team swapped to Oizoid and Capra. They dropped Cenote Cave every single game. Now dropping the same spot to some people can get a little boring, but it has a ton of benefits. Stuff like you end up knowing the spot like the back of your hand, so you know the fastest ways to loot it, you know how to fight there, and you always know the ways to back out in case of third parties or multiple teams land there and you just don't want to fight. Now I personally really like the spot that they're landing. This cave has a ton of loot that you can easily split if you land contested and still have enough to fight with, but it also has crafting that spawns a lot, beacon, and great rotations to either barometer or mills in order to catch an early third party and wipe up some easy kills. Having solid early game kill potential is key for a good draw spot, and in my opinion, they picked a great one here. And if you're looking to adopt a really good draw spot in your own games, try this one out, see how you like it. It's a pretty good spot. Now, next up, the game plan for them is always to get a nice endgame spot where they can get the boost in placement points. But as they rotate, they are never afraid to take a straight up 3v3. Kills are still very crucial in climbing, and they are very much needed at all stages of the game, especially when the next split comes in and the kill changes come in and they're worth more throughout the game. And with the team comp that they're running, they actually have a lot of mobility options, so they can get out of fights if they go sideways. So you can see them always opt to try to pressure a team if they see one. And yeah, sometimes other teams do come and third party them, but if that happens, Madness's team always tries to play on the safe side of things. They typically don't try to force the fight to continue if they don't have to. They will back off, heal up, stabilize, and then look to re-engage as the other two teams fight, then becoming the third party. That way they can become the cleanup crew rather than the original third partiers. Now while this is going on, their goal is still to get to an endgame spot, but if more and more teams want to show up and fight, then they will take the 3v3s. They are very confident in their fighting abilities and will take any straight up fight that they can. And a lot of the time when those teams that trickle in try to fight them, they're just donating RP to the cause, and it was a massacre what they did to the majority of teams this grind session. And, sometimes they did end up getting a lot of kills on the way to zone, and sometimes they didn't. It's just kind of how it goes. But they would always end up in an endgame spot so that they can play for those placement points. But just because they get a spot in zone doesn't mean that they take their foot off the gas and are just sitting waiting for endgame. They are constantly pressuring teams that are around them. They would always be trying to fight anyone who's foolish enough to approach them and try to take their spot. And because the fact that they were cleaning up teams even when they're in an endgame spot means that there are less and less people around them who will be clamoring for positions at the end of the game. This once again opens the door for more options for Madness and his team. If you allow players to take those spots near you as the ring gets smaller and smaller, their spot will get worse and worse. And if that happens, they will start to become desperate. And that's when they will push you to try to take your spot, and you get the people that we call apes or inters, where they not only throw their game but throw yours as well. Because sometimes, even if you kill that first team, others will hear the fighting and will want to take your spot and use that opportunity to just run straight at you. And at that point, it's basically like you're playing COD Zombies. But because Madness's squad was able to wipe out a lot of them when given the chance, they don't have as many teams to deal with in endgame scenarios and can relax a little bit more. And his squad is actually filled with some really solid shooters. They're all really good in their 1v1s. And I've actually fought Madness a lot in game, and while I've won some of those engagements, most of the time he makes it look like I've never played Apex in my life. His skill level in fights is worlds above a lot of people, and when he's on fire, you cannot track him down. This man is a beast, and so are the teammates that he chooses to squad up with, to the point where even Capra was solo in the final circle one game and was able to clutch up for the win with some solid one clips. And yes, I do know that some people will be saying that they can't do this, but do keep in mind that there are a lot of teams that are coming up in the ranks that started by peaking platinum. They got a squad, learned how to play together, and ended up climbing into higher ranks. So if you're looking to reach these high ranks, you have to understand how the players play in them and start to adopt that into your own style. So taking a look at videos like this is a great way to start. But now I want to turn it over to you guys, the community. How do you personally like to play rank? Are you more of an edge style player, or do you play for zone, or hey, do you just go with the flow and whatever happens that game you do? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's see what people think. But with all this being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did and you want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming, and I will see you in the next one.